What's good, BitRushers? My name's Kyler, and you're watching BitRush Crypto. In today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to create a 10,000 piece generative art collection with no coding knowledge. You will need to be able to follow along and do a little bit of copy and pasting, but I'm going to teach you everything else you need to know to get this done. It's also going to be a two-part series, and in the second part I'm going to teach you guys how to launch a smart contract that then mints those NFTs you've created in this video. So be on the lookout for that video in the next couple days after this one, and if you're watching this at any point in the future, it should be linked in the description below and popping up at the end of the video tutorial. If you're new around here, do yourself a favor and go ahead and sub to the channel. You can find all of the links in the description below for everything you need regarding this video and my channel. Other than that, let's tap on that thumbs up button and get into it. So I've already made several tutorials on how to create art collections and launch NFTs on several different chains using Rarible and OpenSea and a bunch of different platforms and software. And I think those are really great videos for beginners or artists looking to get into the NFT space. However, on all those videos, I get a ton of comments. I get lots of emails about how to create your own real deal art collection, 10,000 pieces generated randomly, how to launch them and mint them. And for the longest time, I didn't know how to do that myself. So I was telling people, you know what, I don't know. I'm teaching you what I do know how to do. But I'm recently launching my own Crypto Pumpkins. If you guys haven't seen that project, it's coming soon. Check my channel. And so I had to do a little bit of research and learn how to do some of this stuff myself, which led me to this channel, Hashlips. Okay, so just want to give credit where credit is due. Been following along with his tutorials since the very beginning here, doing some of these, and he's updated his code quite a bit along the way, and it's come quite a ways to make it much easier now for people to be able to do that with much less coding knowledge. Okay, but one thing I want to say is that in his videos he does go through everything line by line and explain everything. So if you're the type of person who wants to learn the real deal how to code, or at least know every single line that's in your code, what it does and what it means, go ahead and watch Hashlips' tutorial. My videos and my style is just meat. No fat, straight to it, straight to the point. So what I'm gonna do, why you want to watch my video, is if you want me to basically just give it to you and tell you where to copy and paste your information in and how to run it, it's going to be super basic, very little coding, very little explanation on what stuff does and why, just basically giving you exactly what you need in the most minimum amount of time and effort to get it done. So if that sounds good, do stick around. Either way, come over here and check out Hashlips. Give him a like, sub to his channel. He's doing a lot of great stuff, and after you watch my video, you might want to go back and watch some of his and get more in depth with some of the features and things of that nature. Okay, so the other thing before we get going, guys, is I'm not going to be covering any of the art here. I'm going to assume that you know how to create, files with layers, art files with layers, and you already have that set up. You already have all of your art ready, and you have the files, and you just need to know how to assemble them into an NFT, and then how to launch those NFTs onto the blockchain. So that's what we're going to be showing you here. If you don't know how to do the art, again, you can search my channel. I have several tutorials on Photoshop and creating art and different things like that, and there's lots of stuff out there on the internet on how to use Photoshop or different free art programs to create those art layers that you would need for your project. So we're going to come over to Node.js and /en for English, and then /download is going to be the link. It will be in the description below if you want to make sure you have the right one. But basically you're going to come here and you're going to download the installer for either Mac or Windows, or if you know how to install, you can get the source code. And basically run the installer and install this into your machine. I'm not going to go over that process, guys. Honestly, if you don't know how to install a program, you shouldn't even be attempting this tutorial. So we're going to assume you know how to do that, get that installed, and we're moving right along. So after having Node.js installed, you're going to need some sort of software that runs the code, and for today's video we're going to use the most popular one out there, which is Visual Studio Code. Again, the web address for this is code.visualstudio.com, and again, it will be linked in the description below. Get over here, install it, and fire it up, and let's get going. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to assume that you have your art files ready to go and you've installed Visual Studio and you're staring at a screen that looks something similar to the one behind me now. We're going to come up to the top and go Terminal, New Terminal. It's going to open up the terminal here below. And the first thing we want to do is just to check to make sure that Node is installed. So we're just going to type in Node-V, and this is going to give us our version. And you can see there right now we have version 16.8.0. It doesn't matter what version you have as long as it's newer than the one that I have here. Doesn't matter if it's different. Okay, so we're good to go on the code side. The next thing we need to do is to get all of the files that we're going to need for this tutorial. To do that, we're going to navigate over to GitHub. So again, we're using the files that have been provided for us by Hashlips, and so you guys can come over here. It's github.com/hashlips, and then the repo that we are pulling from is going to be hashlips_art_engine. And there's two different versions you guys can see. Right here it says branches, and you can see on the side if we click on releases, it tells you the different versions. So there's actually been three. There was this original, there was an update that releases includes the rarity weights, and then he fixed a couple things on that you can see here. So just make sure you're on the proper one. There may be newer versions by the time you guys are watching this video with different features and things added. So if you want to use the exact version that we're going to be using in today's video, it's going to be v1.0.2, okay? And come over to code and click download zip. Navigate to wherever those files are located, and we're going to extract all. If you want to put it somewhere else, you can. I'm going to copy and paste it after, so I'm just going to extract it right here for ease of the video for you guys. And so there we go. If we wanted, it puts a folder right here in the same spot that we just extracted it from, and inside of that folder we can see all of our files. Okay, so just keep in mind where that file is located. You're going to need to know that in just a second. Once that's extracted, we can come back to Visual Studio, and for Visual Studio we're going to do File, and we're going to Open Folder. Okay, so this is going to allow you to navigate to a folder, and from here we're going to navigate to wherever you extracted. Mine was in the downloads, and it was called the Hashlips Art Engine main. We're going to open that, and there's another folder, so make sure you open that one and you're in the one that has the layers and the search. Okay, it's very important that you're in the root folder here. So when you're in that one, then we're going to click select folder. From here on the side under our folder, we should see layers, search, we should see banner, we should see index, license, all of that information. That's how we know we've done it correctly. From here we're going to again open up our terminal. Terminal, new terminal, and we're going to install our dependencies for this project, which is going to be Canvas, which essentially just draws our art files for us. So what we're going to do to get that is npm space I space Canvas, and what the I stands for is install, so we're going to install Canvas. Just let that run for a few seconds, and when we're done with that, we'll move right along. There we go. It takes just a couple minutes, but that is complete. The next thing I want to do before we change anything is just going to test that everything works. So to troubleshoot if anything breaks along the way, we just want to ensure that everything's working from the beginning. So let's come on up and open search, and inside of the src, it does have the config.js. This is going to be the main place that we're going to edit things to change the function of this generator. The one thing we're going to change right now is the grow edition size 2. This is going to be the total number of outputted art files. So if you wanted 10,000, we would change it to 10,000. Since we're just editing and testing right now, we're going to keep it simple, and we're going to go to just 2. So we're just going to make 2 of those art files. Okay, so file, save. We haven't changed anything except for the edition size. All right, guys. Now we're going to come back into the terminal. Make sure you click into the terminal after saving that file, and we're going to go ahead and run it. We're going to just test it. So go ahead and type in node space index.js, which is going to run our index.js file, which is going to build these art files from the layers and everything that's already been provided for us with the software. And you can see right there it says created edition 1 and it has the DNA, created edition 2 with the DNA for edition 2. Now when we come up to the top, there's a new folder, build, and this is going to be our output. We have a folder for metadata and it has all of the metadata. Okay, then we have 1, which is the metadata just for our art file 1. We have 1.png, which is this creation that we've done. This is an art file that creates eyeballs, so there's your first eye. And then we have the JSON file for the second and the art file for the second. So congratulations, guys, you've just successfully built an art generation program, and you're probably thinking, I didn't do anything, I just installed it. Exactly, it's that easy. So the reason I wanted to show you guys this is to show you that you have everything you need at this point to continue. We've installed it, we've ran it, it works. The only thing left to do is to insert our own art files and to rename some of those files with the proper traits for our project, and to import all of the information regarding our project. Basically at this point it's just copy and paste and replacing files. So we're going to go ahead and go through that, but again, first I just want to congratulate you guys on successfully getting this done. So again, the places we're going to look to change are going to be the layers. This is going to be the background layers, the different layers that we're going to have for whatever we're building. Obviously these are all eyeball themed layers because it's an eyeball project. So we can replace those out with the things that we want for ours, and I'll show you guys that here in a minute. And then when we come to config, we need to make sure that all of our files and folders are named the proper things that we have here. So see how it's background, we have layer background, we have eyeball, and we have eyeball. And you're going to build them in the layer that you would like them to be built. So, obviously the lowest base level first, and then you build upon them from lowest to highest. There's also up top here the description. This is going to show up on every single art file, so it's going to just be a description of what these are. And then you're going to have the base URI. This is essentially where you're going to store the art files for the contract to pull these NFTs from. If you don't know what this is or how to handle this, just go ahead and ignore it for now, because I'm going to cover that in the second video. So after you watch that second video, you'll know how to handle this. You know what you need to put in there. So if you need to, just skip over that. Again, coming down, we're going to do height and width. So depending on the size of your files, if there's 1000 by 1000 pixels, you're going to want to do that. If there's 600 by 600, you're going to want to do that. Just change them to whatever it is that you guys are actually using, okay? And then down here it has unique DNA tolerance. This is set to 10,000, so this is going to be unique 10,000 NFTs. So again, if we have a different number, we can change that out to whatever our project is going to use. That's pretty much it, guys. I know I breezed through that real quick, and most of that stuff you're not even going to need to change, but that really is super simple. You're going to come here, change your description, change your base URI to where you're storing it, change your edition size, put in the proper names for all of your art files and layers, change the size of the output, and you're pretty much good to go. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm going to open up the folder that my art files are in. I put them in the same folder as this project, so it's labeled NFT. So I'm just going to open that up. And within there, I have folders already separated for all of my layers. So you're going to want to just do that. Put all your background layers in one folder, all your body in the other, eyes, head, whatever you got for layers. Put them all in separate folders. And now just using Shift, I'm going to highlight all of them, right click and copy. We're going to go back to that folder that we have all of our files for this project in and go into the layers folder. And here I'm going to go ahead and just paste them. Okay, if you want, actually, I'm going to undo that, Control Z. And I'm going to delete everything that's in here out first. So just so we don't get confused with anything. So just go ahead and delete everything that's in there. And now I'm going to paste those in. There we go. So now the only thing in layers is all of our new files. Okay, so we're done with that. We can close this down. And coming over to the side here, we can now see in the layers folder, we have all the new layers that we just put in. And what we need to do is just to rename everything so it corresponds with the layers that we have here in the proper order we would like them to appear. So it is case sensitive. You can see I used all lowercase, so I'm going to just put lowercases in. If you want uppercases, change your file names. We don't have an eyeball, so the next one for us after background is going to be body. After the body, for me, it's going to be eyes. Then we're going to have mouth. And then I have head is my top layer. Okay, so I can just delete these other two out, or if you don't want to delete anything, we can comment it out by doing // so I can just comment those last two since we're not using those. And everything looks good from here. So let's go ahead and just take a look at some of these layers. For background, I have 4 options, and it's going to be just black. I have a faded rush color, and I have tan and plain white. And for body, so what we're doing here, guys, is if you're not familiar with my Pumpkins project, it is going to launch sometime here in October. You guys can check out the videos and links for that, cryptopumpkins.com. I'm using this basically to generate a few samples, and so I'm not going to reveal all of my artwork to you guys, but I have 4 or 5, a couple of each that we've already revealed, and I didn't do any of the glasses, even though we've revealed a couple of them. I decided just not to put them in for this video, so here's a little sample for you guys, okay? So coming into eyes, I have the basic eyes, we have the evil pumpkin eyes, we have the ghost eyes, we have the hypnotized eyes, and then for the head, I have a couple. I have the crown. I have the crown, I have none, I have pink, I have top hat, I have wizard. So the one thing I wanted to show you guys here is none, because my body, the pumpkin here, already has the basic top. If you had a different, top for basic, you could include that in, but for us, I'm just doing none for that one. And then lastly, in mouth, we have a couple of mouths. We have the basic, we have the Cthulhu mouth, we have the evil pumpkin mouth, and we have the wolfang. So all of them have already been revealed, and we're going to just generate a couple samples for you guys here today. So coming back to the config.js, I want to change the size because my output is going to be 1000 by 1000. These pumpkins are a little bit bigger files, so we're going to do that. Just change that here. And everything else looks good that we can just do a test now, and let's see if it renders without editing the code at all, just copying and pasting those images in and changing the names. Come down to the terminal, and again it's going to be node space index.js, and just hit enter. Oh, and we had an error, so let's see what the error is. Okay, so after a little troubleshooting, I realized that there is a weighted factor that we didn't put in. So basically each layer needs the hashtag sign and then a number to basically differentiate the weights that you would like. So the higher the weight, the more it's going to show up when you do the random generator. So if you want to make things rare, you're going to keep them low weight. If you want to make things common, you're going to keep them high weight. I forgot all about that till just now, so let's go ahead and add those in. So just starting with the background file, we're going to just rename real quick. And so after black, we're going to do again the pound sign, and then for this one I'm just going to do 20. The rush one I want to be rare, so this one I'm going to do 10. Oop, forgot the hashtag there, so just got to do that pound sign, so pound 10. The tan background is going to be my most common one, so I'm going to do that one pound like 40. And then the white one, we'll do a little bit less than that. We'll do about pound 30. And so just real quick, that the way these weights work is if you added them all up, it's not a percentage, it's a what of what. So if we add them all up, we can say 20 plus 10 is 30, plus 40 is 70, plus another 30 is 100. So mine actually add up to 100, but they don't have to. So black would be 20 of 100. Example, so let's just say it didn't add up to 100. Let's just say I made this white 40 and it added up to 110. So this would be 20 of 110. Okay, so that's how those weights work. And we're just going to go ahead and add in weights for all of our layers. I'm going to just pause the video and go ahead and fast forward to that so you guys don't have to watch me typing. But basically that's how it works. You have to add that hashtag and a number to basically tell the program how much you want that layer to be weighted when it's generating. So if everything looks good here, we can go ahead and try again. So let's go ahead and node space index.js. I typed in the wrong thing. I typed in node.js. So yeah, make sure you guys are typing it right. Let's try again. Node index.js. Try not to fat finger it this time. All right, looks good. And there we go. So we made our 2 additions. We can now come over and check them out. Ah, nice. Awesome. You know what? I'm noticing though I made a mistake with my art file. I'm pretty sure I have a mouth on my basic pumpkin and that shouldn't be there. Let me just see. Yeah, so there shouldn't be a mouth on this pumpkin. Let me go fix that and we'll come back and keep running this. Okay guys, so I went and replaced that file and we can check it now just by going to layers and body and clicking on that. You can now see he has no eyes or mouth, so that's what we want. We don't want him to already have those features underneath the ones we're adding, so let's just do another quick test here. So type in again node index.js. There we go, we rendered 2, so now let's check the new 2 pumpkins we rendered. Very good. Very good, okay. So at this point we can go back in and edit the rest of the files in the config, so come into config.js. And now's the point where you want to put in all your information. So right here I'm just going to type in something like, this is my test pumpkins. Right, so we're just testing them. Again, we're going to put in the base URI. This is going to be where you store your images to use to pull for the actual NFT. If you don't know what to do here, just go ahead and wait. I'll cover this in the second video, or you guys can just do a little bit of research. There's lots of great information out there on how you can handle the storage of your NFT files. For mine, I'm going to use my main domain, bit-rush.com, and I'm going to have a separate folder for these files. I'm going to call that pumpkins, okay? So the description is just going to be, this is my test pumpkins. My base URI is going to be there. That's where I'm going to store all these files here. And everything else looks good. We already changed the size to 1000. The other thing we can do here is, since we don't need a background, we're going to have a background file. We can get rid of this and put false. Okay, so if you didn't have a background file and you wanted to generate colors, you can do this and the brightness and all that. So I'll let you guys mess with that. And then the tolerance here, okay, so this kind of sets the total number that you're going to create. So if you were going to create 10,000, you'd want to leave this on 10,000. We're only going to create 100 here just as a test. So I'm going to go to 100 tolerance DNA, and then up top to grow edition size. Again, this is going to be the total size of our collection. We're just testing, so I only need about 100 of them for the test. I'm going to put that in. If everything looks good here, we can go ahead and save. Okay, now when we run it this time, since everything was working last time, hopefully again everything's working and we will output 100 files. So node space index.js looks good, and enter. We can see we're starting to build there and it's creating unique DNA. It says DNA exists, so it's finding matches and creating new ones based on those matches, because we don't want to have the same amount, duplicates. And let's just let this run through, and then we'll check the results after. Awesome, so we finished up and we now have 100 pumpkins created. If I come over here to the art file, I can start looking at all of these pumpkins, and if I click into the metadata, we can see all that information. So here's just a couple tests for you guys. And one other tip I will give you guys if you want is, if you're viewing large numbers of them like this, it's probably easier just to go back to a folder. We can find that build folder and click on the first image and just open it up in our Windows photo viewer, and from here we can click the next button, right? So it's a lot easier to just scroll through them. And it looks like we do have 100. Ooh, there's one with that unique background. We do have 100 different pumpkins here. So they're not going to be super unique DNA, because again, guys, we only used 4 or 5 of the items that I have total. And this is just for me to kind of generate some samples. This isn't going to be the final results. These backgrounds aren't even going to be in there. I have different background files and things like that. And we have a lot more, characteristics. We have eyes. We have the glasses. We just have a whole bunch more. So this is just to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek and to help you with the tutorial. So I hope you guys liked it. It's looking good to me. That's 100 of them we just went through. They all look awesome. Just those couple traits together are all blending really well and really nice. I haven't seen any that don't really look good at all. So yeah, really pumped on the Pumpkins project, guys. Again, you can find information for the Pumpkins project in the description below, and it's launching in early October. I'm super excited for it. These pumpkins look amazing. So that's basically it, guys. We've gone through, again, it's a pretty simple process. You come in here, you change some of the names, you add the rarity weights, and you run the program. It's really that simple. The hardest part to getting this right is going to be, having the proper art files, getting your art perfect, and making sure everything lines up and matches. Beyond that, running the actual software here and generating these is super simple. So again, shout out and big thank you to Hashlips for providing this for the community. If you guys want, get over there on his GitHub. Make sure you give him a star. Hop in his chat and his, YouTube, sub to his channel, whatever you guys want. But definitely pump up his channel. Big thank you to him for this. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. We are going to continue with this project, and we're going to post these files that we've just created up onto our server, and then we're going to launch a smart contract and start minting on the testnet. So if all that sounds good, make sure you guys follow along for that video. If you did find this one helpful, please do smash the thumbs up on it. Please sub to my channel if you guys are enjoying the content. You could also throw this thing up on social media, share it with a friend. But other than that, happy crypto. Let's keep getting that coin.